I'm rooting for everybody black. I am betting on black tonight.
Lovely. You look great.
Welcome to Code Black Facts, where we talk about all things black to include news and viral videos, mental health, self love, self care, self development, black women issues, crime stories, and black history. If you are interested in any of these topics, please subscribe to my channel, like, share, and don't forget to comment below. Thank you.
They say it's a black thing when deep in the roots. Blacker the berry, baby, the sweeter the juice.
Hello, everyone. Thank you guys for tuning into Code Black. So I'm coming to you today because I do want to talk about this particular story. So after a first date at Popeyes, marriage was on the menu. And so this is the beautiful couple here. And basically, they tell their story to the New York Times. And the New York Times writes up an article and they put it on their website. And so I first seen this on, I believe, the Shade Room. And when I saw it, they only had like the words, they did not have a picture. But I knew without seeing the picture, after reading the article, or at least part of the article, I knew it was a black couple. I just knew it. And as I go through the article, you guys will see why. Now, let me say this: I am an advocate for black marriage. Um, I'm an advocate for marriage. Period. Point blank. Just period. I believe that marriage, for both men and women, has its benefits. Now, I'm not going to get into why I believe that because this is not the video. So please don't come under my comment section saying, "Oh no, it doesn't." Like, look, this video is not for that. I'm just telling my sentiments, okay, before I get into the article. But I do believe that marriage has benefits for men and women and the children that are born within that union. And so because of that, I am an advocate. That and of course much more reasons why. But I say that because you know I'm gonna be brutally honest about what they have reported to the New York Times. And I don't want it to come off as if, you know, I'm not an advocate for marriage, or that as if I'm not an advocate for, someone to find love. I am, I believe in all of that. And so I just want to put that out there, but I can't sit back and just accept the nonsense. And I think that's what a lot of people do. And I think that's why, you know, we as the black community are in the predicament that we're in now. Okay. So let me go ahead and give you guys some background. Um, Also, I want to say this as well. I'm using their story as an example. So a lot of things that I'm going to say and be honest about has not necessarily nothing to do with them specifically, but since they put their story out there for the world to see, then I mean, we can talk about it. So, this is not so much about them and what they did. This is about really the black community, because within the black community, there is a lot of this. There's a lot of, desperation on both sides, right? Because when someone says desperation, you always think about the woman being desperate, but the men are desperate as well. There are men who are desperate to find a woman who will allow them to, to for somewhere to lay their head, right? There are men who are desperate for, a woman to take care of them. There are men who are desperate for a woman to put them on or put them in their, in their network of influence or whatever. So you have men who are also desperate, and you have women who are also desperate. And in the black community, I think that there are a lot of men and women who get into unions of some sort. That could be relationship, that could be parenthood, that could be whatever, because they are desperate. Okay. So I'll let you guys make up your own mind as I go through the article. Now, I'm not going to read the article from, top to bottom. I don't want to bore you guys. So I'm just going to kind of stroll through and just kind of, ad lib, um, this article, right? So to save us some time, because I don't want to spend much time on this. So basically, this couple tells their story about how they met and their dating. And so obviously you see from the title it says after a first date at Popeyes, marriage was on the menu. So they go into talking about how they met on the um the dating app Hinged, and how when they first met they set up to meet twice, but twice the man canceled. And it wasn't until the third time where, they actually went on that first date. And so that to me is flag number one. Like, I could get you canceled the first time because things do come up, but a second time, it's an absolute no. Like, if you cancel the first time and you can't find no time whatsoever to make sure you can be on a date, right? That to me, that's a problem. But, some people may say, oh, well, things happen, third to charm. Okay, we'll see. So they finally go on the date or whatever. And so this is the picture that you guys saw. And it talks about how he literally called her on the phone and said, hey, in 5 minutes, can you meet me at the parking lot of Popeyes? And so she agreed to drop everything and meet him at the parking lot. Now, again, that to me screams desperation. It just does, because it's like, if you can't plan a time and a place beforehand and you got to just pop up and call me and then tell me to be there in 5 minutes, that's a problem. That's a problem. And that's a red flag. And you got to understand that, like, people will try you. They will see what you will put up with from the very beginning. They will see, what they can get away with, from the very, very beginning. And so for me, I just think that's a problem. Like, you're not really showing, you have to give the man the opportunity to show you that he's putting forth an effort, right? An effort. And that effort, it could be, to me, it's so simple. Where are we meeting and at what time? That is not hard. Where are we meeting at what time? You can't call me the day of and then tell me to meet you in 5. That's an absolute no, right? That's an absolute no. And this is the thing. If your own friends and family members can't do that, then you shouldn't let no man or woman do that. So that's red flag number one. So, she drops everything. She goes to the parking lot of Popeyes, and they literally have their first date in the car, sitting in a Popeyes parking lot. And on that date, he orders himself some chicken from KFC, which was directly across the street, right? And then it mentions that it was a pandemic. So, it was the early days of the pandemic. So that may be why they had to sit in the car. But at the end of the day, Popeyes was not the only restaurants that were open. There were other restaurants there were steakhouses that were open as well, that would allow you to order and they bring your food out to the car. Or you could order and you just go pick up your food. That was an option as well, not Popeyes. Okay? And this is not even about where they had their first date. This is so much, to me, like I said, it's the effort. There's no effort. Right. And the reason why, I want to point these things out, you guys, because like I said, I think this happens a lot in the Black community. And I am no relationship guru, don't want to be, never claimed to be. But what I do have that many so-called relationship gurus don't, is I do have a bachelor's in psychology and a master's in clinical counseling. And I do have the experience of actually being a therapist and helping people through different things that they were going through in their life. Okay. And relationships being one of the biggest things that people go through, whether it be family relationships or romantic partner relationships. I did that for some years. Okay. So I'm not a relationship guru or coach, don't want to be, but I have common sense. I have, uh, the experience from helping people through things like this, right? And it's just got red flags written all over it. That's all I'm gonna say. That's all that's all I'm gonna say. So moving on, it goes on to give you like a little background. It talks about how um it gives you their age. She's 34, he's 44. So there's a 10-year difference. And it also talks about how, when he canceled the first 2 times, the third time when he called her, she thought he was going to cancel. So she started out like, oh, well, if you're going to cancel, then don't ever call me again. And he's like, no, 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 I'm not going to cancel. Just meet me, here in 5. And so, of course, she did that. So it talks about how, like, when they first met, they basically talked for, forever. And it was almost like they had known each other for a very long time. Now, everybody wants to feel like when you first meet somebody, you want to feel like you've known that person for forever. Like everybody wants to feel that way. Everybody wants to feel like, oh my God, this is going somewhere. I didn't waste my time. Nobody wants to have time wasted. When you're meeting somebody for a date, you're also meeting them for, it to turn into something else, whether that be a relationship, whether that be a situationship, whether that be whatever. You want it to turn into something else, because otherwise you wouldn't waste your time, right? And so um they go on to talk about that. And let's see what else talks about. Now that's another thing, like if you meet somebody and at the beginning it feels like you've known them for forever, that could be, something that you may want to look at, because again, people are always going to, you know they're always going to tell you what you want to hear. They're always going to show you their better half before they show you the other half. Always. And only time will help reveal who that person truly is. And you may not even learn that person completely. You'll never know somebody completely, because you'll never get into the mind of somebody. But there are behaviorisms, there are characteristics that will come out, that will naturally come out, that will help you see, okay, this may not be a good situation with this person, because that's not how I move personally, right? So it goes on to talk about, how they couldn't stop talking, and how they were able to connect on, where they were from. Both of them were from the West Indies, or had connections to the West Indies or whatever. And so then it goes on to say how, you know, when she met him within 2 weeks, she tells him, oh, we're going to get married. And then he looks at her like, what? I don't even know you. And she's like, yeah, we're going to get married. And then she goes on to tell him that when after a month of them dating, she tells him, oh, well, in 6 months, I need you to move in with me. In 6 months. So basically, this is her planning out their relationship. She's putting forth the effort. She's, and she goes on, and it actually says, she tells them that, she planned out their future. When they first started talking, they talked about their future, and he was talking about what he wanted, and they both wanted some of the same things. And it's really, you guys, it's like, I can't tell you how many times I've met someone, and in conversation in the beginning, they talk about building wealth, right? Ownership. Oh, I want to own a home. I want to own a business. I want to own this and that. Everybody talks about that. Like, that's not something, like everybody talks about that. Like, that's not something that's like, oh my God, he talked that. You want a home? Me too. I don't know too many people that don't. Oh, you want to make a bunch of money? Me too. I don't know too many people that don't. Oh, you want to have a family? Me too. I mean, come on. There are many people that do. Those are so basic to me. And when somebody is talking like that, like as women, ladies, like that is to me, that is so general. But see, when you're not used to that, or you have been starved of that, and you meet somebody and they're talking about that, then that may seem like that's some grand thing. But if you are a 34-year-old woman who's gotten your career situation together and you've gotten everything together and you meet a 44 somebody 10 years older than you and he's not speaking like that, that means that you don't need to be talking to him. So if you were to meet a man who's not talking about building, who's not talking about wealth, who's not talking about having his own ownership, you don't need to be talking to him anyways. That's how I see it, because look, we are, whether you want to or not, let me put these people back on the screen. Honey, when you walk around throughout the world, you are a black woman. You are a very black woman. And when I say very black, I mean futuristically black. You cannot be mistaken for nobody else. And many of us black women, we can't. When people see us, they see black. He's a black man, phenotypically. So, and in every way, he's not being mistaken for a Latina man or a white man or an Asian man or Arab man. He's not. He's a black man. Okay, so whether, we want to understand that or not, like, walking around, you are black. Like, people are going to see you as black. And if you are not talking about those things, then what are we doing? Like, what are we doing? Like, for real, what are we doing? So again, it seems to me like starvation of, she has not been able to meet men who talked about these things. And so for her, those general things that men of a certain age should be talking about and going after was just so grand that she was telling him that they were going to be married within only knowing him a few weeks, and that she needed him to move into her home. And again, that shows her taking the lead. Where does the man take the lead throughout this story? Because he didn't plan the date, so he didn't lead in that, right? It was more so a pop-up. She's the one that suggested that he move in with her. She's the one that told him they were going to get married. Like, where does he plan? Where does he put forth the effort anywhere? Right? And then it talks about how, like, he was juggling when they met. He was juggling some women, and then that after he went on that date with her, that they fell off. Well, they probably fell off because she was the one that probably showed that she would be, put up with a lot of stuff. That all he had to do was do the bare minimum. And see, when you start out like that, that's going to be expected throughout the duration of the relationship. And the minute you change that, so for example, she's a working woman. So the minute she tells him that she's tired, that she needs to rest, or asked him to do something, or asked him to, hey, can you do this or do that? Or if children enter this union, right? And she feels like she needs to take a break and let him lead and he's gonna resist that. He's gonna fight that. He's gonna tell her that she's changed. And then he's gonna begin to remind her of how they met. That's what's gonna happen. That's exactly what's gonna happen. Now, the masculinity is showing, right? The masculinity is showing because, again, this is a picture of them at their wedding. It's showing because where's the part where, okay, so this is the part. It says about a month after the first date in late June 2020, he asked her to be his girlfriend. She agreed, but not before asking him to make it known that he was, as she put it, off the market. See that right there? That's masculine. Look, ladies, if a man asks you to be his woman, right? He wants to make it solid with you. He wants to make that real commitment. He wants to jump from dating to, okay, now you are my woman. He's already thought that out. You shouldn't have to tell this man that, oh, well, I'm gonna need you to make it known. Like, that should have already been thought out. Believe me, if he decides that he wants to tell you that y'all are together, and then now, he's basically giving you the okay to, like, if y'all will take pictures, you can start posting pictures and stuff like that. He's already planned that. That should already have been planned. You shouldn't have to tell this man, oh, well, I need you to make it known. He should make it known. Give him the opportunity, because by him making it known, that tells you something. But see, she had to tell him that. So again, that's masculinity showing to me. And it's one thing to say, okay, you want to be with me and now we are together, and then a couple of weeks down the line, I don't see where, you have, made that be known. Like, I haven't met the family or the friends or anything like that. I could see if you have a conversation after that. But if he come to you and say, hey, I want you to be my woman, and then your response is, okay, I agree, but I need you to make it known. That to me is a red flag. That's a red flag. To me. To me. To me. To me. So then it says, it goes on to say, soon afterwards, she laid out a plan for their future. It says she laid out a plan for their future. She did. So after a month, he asked her to be his woman. And then she lays out the plan for their future. Where does he lead? Why is she not giving him the opportunity to lead, or the opportunity for him to show her that he can lead? I mean, isn't that what men supposed to do? Don't men want to lead? Do we not hear men say every day, all day, that women won't let them lead? Women won't let them be the man. But it's like, if a woman has to let you, she's not for you. And, anyways, I'm not going to get on that. But anyways, like I said, she's not, he needs to, she's doing everything. Why is she planning that? When a man gets married, when a man decides that he wants to marry you, all of that stuff has already been thought out. He's already thought out how he wants his family to be. He's already thought out where he wants to live, what he wants. He's already thought that out. A real man, now, a man who's just kind of going with the whim, he's trying to come up on something, maybe not. But the men that I've encountered and have talked to, that's already been thought out. That's already been thought out. I come to you talking to you about marriage, talking to you about, children and family and all of that. I've already thought that out. So now we're just having conversations to see what your mindset is about my thoughts. Right? So then it goes on to say, this is when she tells him that he's going to move in with her. Now, mind you, look, this is the thing. Let me tell you something. I have dated men who have their own. And when I say their own, I mean their own. I mean, well off. Okay? And I'm going to tell you right now, in the conversations about, if we were to move in together, who would move with who, there was no question about they not moving with me. Number one, they stuff was so laid. They had it just the way that they liked it. They not finna give that up just to come move into my girly pad. Men who have their own, men who have built their own, men who has taken his home and made it just the way that he wants it. Believe me, he not finna give up his man cave to go live in a 2-bedroom apartment with some woman. The only way a man is giving up his stuff is if the woman's stuff is better. So there's a reason why he was moving in with her and she wasn't moving in with him. There's a reason for that. Okay? That's all I'm going to say. To me, that's a red flag. Most men who have built their own, or who have their own, especially at 44, okay, especially at 44, who has, they got their man cave, they got their house laid out just the way that they like it. They're not going to go give that up to squish everything into somebody's home. Typically, they let the women do that. Okay, you move in with me and you find room over here. Is what usually happens. It's not the other way around. So that to me tells you everything. He moved in with her because 9 times out of 10, his situation wasn't, his situation wasn't. It was better for him to move in with her. Believe me, because if his stuff was better, there's no way, no man is giving it up. I don't know any man that's going to give up or something that he made just the way he liked it. His room, his kitchen, his closet, his everything, his, if he has a pool room, a basketball, whatever court, whatever. If it's just the way he likes it, he not gonna get it up and then go start from scratch in something smaller. That's not happening. Now let's just be real here. Let's just be real. That's not happening. So it goes on to talk about how he proposed to her within the 6 months on a trip that they were in Barbados. Um, and it goes on to say that his friend bought the engagement ring. So what probably happened is that he didn't have the money. He asked his friend to borrow the money. The friend was like, "Okay, you can borrow the money." He pays for the ring and then he pays his friend back. That's not a flex, guys. Like, you don't have money to purchase the ring. You don't have the taste to purchase the ring. Like, why is your homeboy buying an engagement ring? That is weird as hell to me. I don't care how much. And let's just be honest here, dude. Like, men men are not advocating for other men to just get married like that, especially within 6 months. If anything, all you see every day, all day, is men telling men to make sure that they get all of their crazy, situations out before they get married. Men are not telling men encouraging marriage. Okay, you might find one or two that encourage marriage. You don't even hear men encouraging that marriage in church anymore. Men are not encouraging marriage. Women are encouraging marriage. Men are encouraging, finding a woman that will, that you can have good sex with, and finding a woman that, is very understanding, so understanding that she just lets you get away with everything, submissive. Like, men are encouraging that. They're not encouraging marriage. If anything, marriage is they're telling men not to get married. That marriage is a trap. That marriage is gonna do all these crazy things to them. Men are not. So when you have somebody's homeboy encouraging his friend to get married very quickly, might I add, within 6 months, to the point where the friend goes out to purchase the ring, that's a red flag. Because he didn't say he asked his friend to borrow the money. He said that he told his friend that they were going on a vacation to the Barbados, and his friend felt like he really should lock that woman down, so much so that the friend went out and just bought a ring. Who does that? Either they're lying, or the friend knew that the woman was the woman needed to, he needed to his friend was needed to lock this woman down, because this would be a good come up for him. Let's just be real. Right. And it did say, let me see, that I missed that part yet. And it talked about like how she has an MBA and he has an associate's degree. And and not that that's even that important, but in the Black community, unfortunately it is, because statistically, um women are doing a lot when it comes to, education, when it comes to, starting businesses and making money and making more money. Women are doing a lot. And a lot of times you have situations where, the women don't really have a large pool of so-called educated, because I'm gonna say this: just because you got a degree don't necessarily mean you're educated. I'll say that, because a lot of people who got degrees, they're not even working in the field that they got the degree in. It's been like that for years, and it will continue to be like that, because society will continue to lie and say that if you have a degree you can do all these grand and great things, which honestly these days we live in a technology, microwavable society, and you got people literally becoming millionaires and billionaires with no degree. So That's but now if you're looking to get into certain, obviously if you want to be a brain surgeon, I don't know anybody who would let someone operate on their brain or operate on them and ain't never been to school for it and don't have, like no one's that stupid. So obviously you do need to go and get your degree and get that experience and learn how to do certain things. But with a lot of other stuff, you don't necessarily need it. And I am an advocate for those who, depending on what you want to do in life, will also depend on whether or not I think you should spend that money for a degree. Um, but outside of the degree in school, you do create networks of people, which is probably what she did. And we're going to find this out a little bit later because it talks about how when they got married, she tapped into her network of people, her network of people, her network of people. She tapped into her network of people and she had friends that had a vacation home that was big enough to for them to have their 117 guest wedding. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I don't know too many people that have friends in their network that have vacation homes. We're not talking about your main home. We're talking about your friend that has a vacation home and one that is so nice where you could host a 117 guest wedding. Okay? So that's her network of people. So that could be another reason why it would be a good idea for him to marry her because she has a network where of people who probably have some money. She has a network. She's tapped into a network of people who are going somewhere, the shakers and the movers of society. And when you are looking to come up, that's a good thing. And there's nothing wrong with that. I think that if you're going to be married, why not marry someone who you guys can, again, marriage, like I said, it benefits both people. I believe that's one of the benefits. You can get with somebody who maybe they do have a network of people that you could tap into. I mean, other groups do it all the time. Other groups do it all the time. Other groups look at, okay, this person is kin to these people. This will be a good look. Marry them. They do it all the time. So this is not a bad idea. Again, it just depends on the people, but I don't think that's a bad idea. So I'm not gonna talk down on that. So I think it's, but again, you got to be careful because if that's something that the person only wants, then that's a problem. That should be something that's a plus, that's a benefit. Not, oh, I'm gonna get with this person because this person can take care of me and they have a network and they have, friends that are wealthy and I want to get next to those. No. Okay. So it goes on to talk about that how they moved and they built a house together and let me see. That's pretty much it. But you guys, I just wanted to talk about this story because I think that in the Black community, there's a lot of this. I mean, um, I'm not gonna go off on another topic. All I'm gonna say, you guys, is that we got to do better. Women, we got to do better. We got to set better standards. We got to love ourselves more. We got to be able to see the red flags. We got to not be so desperate for, anything really. Men got to do better. Men have to make more of an effort, build before you get married, especially if you're 44, and it did say that he was married once for 6 years. And so, I do know that divorce can take its toll on you, especially if you had children within that union. And it didn't get into all of that, but that may be why. Maybe he's rebuilding. I don't know. It didn't say any of that. But even still, if you're rebuilding, then you need to get built first and then go find love. That would be my suggestion because you can't pour something from nothing. If your cup is empty, you have nothing to pour out. And as people, we need to be poured into. Women need to be poured into, men need to be poured into. That is different for different people, and it's also different based on men and women. What a woman may need can be completely different than what a man may need. As a woman, a woman may say, I need you to pour into me financially. I need you to pour into me and provide and protect and, to make sure that our children have the best of everything, the best education, the best, of everything, the best of life, the best of food. I need you to pour into me so that I can be the best version of myself and I don't have to stress and I don't have to worry. Right. And then the man could be like, okay, well, pouring into me means that, that the little things that I used to worry about or that I needed to get done, now I know that those things can get done by you. I know that you can, help with those little things. I don't have to worry about the mindset of my children. I know that my children will be not only, in the schools that they go to, but when they come home, they will come home to someone who is teaching them and nurturing them the right way. I don't have to worry about, my finances situation. I know that, financially, if I'm unable to watch the books closely, maybe that's what you're doing. I don't know. Everybody's union is different. You got to figure that out. But we pour into each other in different ways. And what I would say is that if you start out doing, and you don't give the man the opportunity to be the man and to be masculine and to lead, and whether or not he wants to do it or not, let him reveal that. If he doesn't want to lead and he doesn't want to do all the things that, is required of a man, then that needs to be revealed. And then you make your decision based off of that. But when you're moving fast and, so anyways, I wish this couple the best. I really, truly do hope it work out. And that's all I'm going to say. And that's all I have. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. And until next time, you guys have a good one. Peace.
Say it's a black thing when deep in the roots. Blacker the berry, baby, the sweeter the juice. I'm trying to get lost, covered in all of your sauce. They say black don't crack, well baby, you living